push the like button.
Check. Ladies and gentlemen, hello. How's everybody out there? It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic host of Bachelor Nation News. Welcome to the pre-show. What is this, week 5? Are we on week 5? Can't be week 6. It doesn't feel like a week 4. I think we're on old Cinco. Happy President's Day, the holiday nobody cares about. All right, how's everyone doing out there? Let's populate that chat room vibe. Sarah Wink's in the house. Oh, it looks like we have a birthday. Happy birthday, Becky. Becky with the good birthday. Becky Ruther, Pisces, and tell us about your Pisces birthday. What is that? What does a Pisces do on their birthday? Let me know. All right, we have the pre-show live chat. Hello, folks. Had a pretty busy day today. We'll get into all the different shenanigans. I just received, oh boy, you're not going to like me here because I have to tease it. I just received a voicemail that if I shared the accusations being made, it would be on TMZ. Let's just put it that way. I have no way of verifying it. I'm going to respond to the voicemail. Even if it's true, I'm not going to break the story. But very fascinating, the types of things that slide through the old direct messages, as we like to call them. I'm so nervous, I'm going to even X out of the window. I don't want to accidentally even share it. It's so juicy. So, that's right. We have it, a top 10 podcast, Bachelor Rush Hour. We are here, and we are just crushing it. Tomorrow, I will be recording with Jess Ambrose on her podcast. And if there's anything you guys want me to talk about, by all means, feel free to ask or let me know. It's going to be a long one, too. Tomorrow, I'm going to have to do one of those 5 a.m.s. Get up early, get all my content made around 10:30 in the morning, go drive over to their studio and do it all over again. But that's the name of the game, folks. The content game. Luis, hello. Maria, Peggy, Angel. Who else is in the chat? I can't. Oh, it would be instant TMZ. Bruce said, is my voicemail from a celeb? No, I received a voicemail from somebody who had information regarding an alumni of the show, and the information would make it understandable why they act the way they do. Let's leave it at that. It's not a spoiler, and I'm not telling you. It's in the vault to be referenced at a later date and time. Although it does beg more questions to be answered regarding said alumni. And I'd have to, I mean, even if I had smoking gun, oh man, it's not one of those like outing somebody who's in the closet. It's not like that type of deal, but it of course is above my pay grade. All right. Yes, Maria, so excited to do Jess's podcast. I got to say, the podcast, I got to tell you, I'll pat myself on the back. These podcasts that F with me, I think they're smart. I think it's a smart business decision. And there's another podcast that asked me to be on their show. It is in my Mount Rushmore of Bachelor podcasts, and it's when I'm on my honeymoon. And as much as I want to say yes, and I'll just record it from Indonesia, I can't trust the bandwidth. I don't want to mess that phone call up or that Zoom up. Yeah, Bruce, I will the voicemail that was sent to me, I will at the very least float it by Reality Steve and a few other people who are in the same social circles, just to see if this is a conversation that's actually happening behind the scenes. Not because I'll then run with the story, but because, you know, it'd be nice to at least know. Yeah. Angel said, Dave, you're pulling a Nick V with us. Is it a stroke or not sharing info? If you didn't see my video from earlier today, there was this moment where Nick kind of stutters and he's like, And what was happening is he was deciding what he was allowed to say or not say, because you got to be careful, you know. People, even if I I don't know, discussed a hypothetical, people run with things, but I can still tease the hell out of it because I just got it, and I was like, oh my gosh. And you know what? Well, you know what? I can't say anything else. Big shout out, Bachelor Rush Hour. It's important to see our charts. So before we do Jess Ambrose's podcast, we're sitting at number 25 in entertainment news. We'll see how we're doing after Jess's podcast, see how that boosts us. A big shout out to CG1210 for the nice review. Simply the best. Nuanced and Real says live chat lib love. Or live chat lib love. And then another said, Dave Neal, you've come so far. Well, I couldn't have come this far without each and every one of you. So thanks for all the continued love and support with the podcast, Bachelor Rush Hour. We received we were very well received on a phone call. I'll tell you what, Thursday morning, Wednesday night, we had our stand-up show. And we're going to discuss a few of the other things going on here, but we're just going to, Aaron said Demi. No, we're not. There's going to be no, I'm not going to give even a hint of who I'm talking about. They were just on the show. Susan said, can you get a rain check? Yeah. The Patreon knows the podcast I'm talking about. For sure, there'll be a rain check. For sure. Maybe end of March. But the first half of the March, I'll be in Bali, Indonesia. So anyway, I posted some photos. I don't know if, maybe they're featured. But from the show Wednesday night. And then Thursday, I don't see them. Whatever. Maybe they're on my other page. So if you haven't already, you can follow my Facebook accounts. I don't really do too much on here. But, these were photos from the show with Katie Thurston. And, of course, this was us doing our Q&A. If you watched any of today's Patreon, you'll see a couple glimpses of things I showed from the Q&A. But I'm not going to share anything without Katie's approval because some of the content was jaw-dropping, folks. Jaw-dropping. But either way, that was us in a full sold-out 230-person room. They have a fun little stage there, brand new comedy club. Whenever you're telling jokes, you want to make sure people are at least laughing or smiling here. There was one where we had a nice lady smiling in the bottom. I don't know where she went. There's the backstage area, so we'll make a few TikToks about it. This right here is the curtain to get on stage. So you literally watch the show as, they're showing the timestamps of when you're about to go on, which is all very nice stuff. Very nice stuff. Anyway, so that happened Wednesday night. Then Thursday morning, we got a very nice request to do someone's podcast, which was fun. And then Ross said after show today. Yes, there'll be an after show today. It might not be that long because I have a ton of content to do and I have to get up super early tomorrow to record these other podcasts. But I'm going to try my best. The dog just farted. Yeah, dog just blew one in my direction. Okay, elderly dogs. That's what they do. They fart on you. You gotta love them. So anyway, we'll play some trailers in a second. But then on my drive home from the San Diego Thursday morning, we got brunch, Katie, Jess Ambrose, my wife, and one of Jess's friends. And then on the way home, I had a very productive phone call for the podcast. And looks like we're going to have some good business opportunities with the podcast. And we're going to keep growing it. So who knows? Maybe by the end of the year, the podcast may be like a 50-50 venture with my YouTube in the sense that what I'm learning to do, see if I can pull this up here. So this was today. So let's see if I can find, yeah. So what I've been doing is this. I've been taking all the different clips from videos that I made during the day. I'll show you 1 second here. And then we'll play some trailers. We're just letting the chat populate. So what I do is I take whatever I find to be the most interesting clips from the day that will work on podcasts, and then I put them in this timeline, and then I export them audio only.
And tied into that, someone said, after your social media break, do you wish you had income not so reliant on it?
So today's content was Becca Martinez talking about exiting Chatty Broads, and then, of course, Nick Vielle discussing the heavy tea that Nate was in the right in their breakup. Broke up, of course. And, of course, we bring that all together with a unique and robust music, which I always think every day I'm making the podcast, I try to feel the energy I'm feeling. And I felt very blue collar today, so I started with a railroad-themed song. Have a listen. Oh. ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. Happy President's Day out there. Oh, I know, it's the holiday literally nobody cares about. Are you buying a mattress or a flat-screen TV? Well, join us. Tonight's a new episode of Bachelor. We have some previews and all of the day's clips brought to you right here in this neat little thing we call Bachelor Rush Hour. Let's do it. So if you haven't been listening, that's original content, folks. And I think I sort of made a little bit of a fluffy of a mistake when I started the podcast in that I made it all of the content. And what I'm doing now, I've listened to your advice because some people say I'm very defensive when people leave me bad reviews, but there's some critical reviews and I'm listening to them. And since it's a daily podcast, I'm trying to keep it around 25 to 30 minutes tops. What I'm giving you in the first 6 to 10 minutes is like exclusive playing of trailers, playing of like get right to the essential, meat and potatoes. And then after I'll play a little bit of a longer form content. So if your commute's longer than others, you'll get all the info. And if you just want the first 10 minutes, who am I to stop you guys? Who am I to stop you? All right, so that's where I'm at. And again, much appreciation to everyone who's been following along. Let's play a couple trailers and let's see what's going on tonight on The Bachelor.
The Bachelor touches down in London town.
Hello, Zachary. Would you like to kiss me?
But who won't keep calm
Today is Zach's worst nightmare.
and carry on?
I'm gonna hyperventilate.
So that was like the fastest trailer ever. So there it is, of course. London, very nice town. I don't know.
I think we know what that is.
I would love to not hear my name on that group date card. I would be really happy.
Brooklyn, Ariel, Mercedes, Allie, Katie.
Sorry. I'm gonna hyperventilate. I literally can't.
Can't what?
Mercedes.
Is having a moment right now.
What's wrong?
She is
Sounds like Mercedes needs some AAA.
reacting pretty heavily to her not getting the one-on-one date. I feel for her. I just wasn't expecting it to be this hard for her.
Half the girls that are going on the group date have had a one-on-one, so they do have that connection. It's just such a horrible feeling.
Coming up tonight on The Bachelor. Okay, and well, you know what's funny is right here someone said, did someone get fired on the marketing team this week? And quite honest, I agree. The there isn't much happening on their social media. They've only got one 3-second Instagram. Let's see what they have on their Instagram stories. But someone dropped the ball. Is this the same one?
The Bachelor touches down in London town.
Yeah, that's the same one. So not much going on. The Bachelor touches down in London town. Is that all they can really think of? Is there nothing else? You know what I mean? It's like, look, the show has, 10, 11 episodes max? They can't hype it up. I mean, this is the reason why channels like mine even exist. The fact, guys, the fact that the Bachelor producers don't have a pre-show cocktail hour every single week with a couple alumni popping champagne, talking about the daily Bachelor news, it is befuddling to me that they don't have more of a parallel universe surrounding the Bachelor. It is so cheap. I mean, literally so cheap for them to just have a studio set up and turn the cameras on, much like the way I do it, but actually have some of these, verified, doodad folks there. Anyway, all right. So let's see. Do we have any other content from this week? Oh, Game of Roses posted this scene. Let's have a listen. This is, is this it? This is Game of Rose. This is Game of Roses pod sent this from, this was a Good Morning America trailer this morning. Gabby receives the coveted Pretty Woman date during tonight's game. As we remember, Rachel Kirkconnell received Matt James' Pretty Woman date. Pretty woman, walking down the street. Pretty woman, I would sell your feet pictures for an extra couple bucks. Okay.
Today, Gabby and I are literally living like royals. It's the ultimate royal experience.
Thank you.
I'm so excited for it.
How are you? Good to see you. Well, welcome. So my name's Grant Harold, and I'm known as the Royal Butler.
Grant was literally
I thought he said Gunt. I thought he said Gunt. Grant.
King Charles Butler, and we're getting the full royal treatment.
Whoa! Can you just put this on just for funsies?
Oh, this goes over the face.
You look so fabulous.
They said they're going to give her the full royal treatment. Does that mean we're going to behead her if it doesn't fit the king's wishes?
Has her personality, and she's so fun and funny, which is something I just really admire. Fun and funny, which is something I just really admire.
I pulled a few strings, and I've got somebody I'd like to introduce you to.
Oh?
The Courtney!
All of a sudden, the royal family's corgis running.
Oh, hi.
Oh,
You have a little crown on your head. Oh, there it is. I'm loving my time with Gabby. Like, she's embracing the moment, and
Whoa, they're just laying down on the ground.
I'm loving it.
All right. Well, if anyone wants to throw me some quid, to use a British term, join the Patreon, patreon.com/Dave Neal. Yeah, let's see how it goes down here. Someone posted she is, and again, there's no spoilers, just so you guys know. Make sure to remember, you can speculate all you want in good faith, but we ain't doing none of them spoilers. Livestream rules, no name calling, no creeps, super chats appreciated. There's 171 people in the chat, which is a great number. I really appreciate that. It's the mid-season. I'm going to ask, could you guys do me a favor if you enjoy the mindless banter that we have here regarding the Bachelor world? Can you hit the like button? It's not just a frivolous thing that I ask you to do. It tells the algorithm, hey, Dave Neal's got a hot thing happening on his page right now, and if you guys want to be a part of that hot thing, hitting the like button, commenting, or even sharing with friends in whatever Facebook community. Oh, Dave Neal's live. And maybe during the episode, you could just share a link that after the show I'll be live too. I know every week my schedule's slightly changing, but I hope you guys know it's because good things are happening out there. I'm not sitting on my butt just, counting corgis. You know what I mean? A lot of good things going on out there. Last Monday, I had to go do some open mics. The Monday before that, I was performing at the Hollywood Improv. All good things. Trying to kind of get a bigger platform out here so we can keep having fun and all that jazz. Okie dokie. So, we got to the end of that. Let's see what else they have here. What is this? This is some nice, cool, fun music here. Digging Deeper, that's Game of Roses. Trying to see what else they have here. Is this last week? Oh, I think we already did the meltdown here. They posted the meltdown. And let's see.
Zach asks her point blank if she's here for him. She says yes. He says he heard something else. He heard that she's here for Instagram followers, and he is shocked. She says she is too.
I'm shocked.
As they're both sitting here doing this, I'm just like, is this fucking real? Like how both of them have Instagram accounts that they are going to monetize. They both do. Everyone on the show does. I don't understand this at this point in the fucking game.
It's crazy.
Like, what fourth audience member is watching this and believing any of it? What percentage of the audience is sitting there like, that's right, they shouldn't be talking about Instagram? But
I'd say about 90% of people over the age 55. No offense to the audience.
Instagram.
Y'all
and they
get
all
duped.
make money off of it.
It's just after the Brendan and Piper episode of Bachelor in Paradise, I didn't think we would see such a straight up demonization of Instagram.
Yes.
And I think it is forced into the conversation because of How to Win the Bachelor. I think this is the book. I think that the book has been completely edited out of this.
Yeah.
And that the 50K was definitely top 14. I don't know exactly if we had estimations like that, but it's getting this in the conversation.
All right, so here we have Game of Roses saying they think that their book, How to Win the Bachelor, was edited out of the season because, as we know, it had been reported that they were going to address the fact that someone had the book, How to Win the Bachelor, on the show. All right, so Katie Thurston had posted, I don't know if we have it here. Let's see, she had posted a few clips, Katie Thurston here, from our show Wednesday night, which we did sell out. If anyone has, I'd be happy to answer them here. Ask any questions about the show. Willie Billy with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I very much appreciate that. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. Let's see what Katie posted here. Oh my gosh, too loud. Too loud. All right, so she's sharing her yearbook. Let's see. Hold on. Oh boy. No, that's not it. Very nice. Do you guys still have your yearbooks?
How you guys doing? Do we have any gore girls here tonight? Praise be our beloved game. What about Reddit? Yeah, you anonymous bitches.
There it is. Now, Katie posted her freshman year high school photo, 2006. My freshman year was what, 2000? Oh boy. Either way, hoops, big earrings there. Okay, you guys are frozen. All right.
I was voted social butterfly.
Are we still frozen here? Let's make sure we figure this out. Freezing again. Well, what are we going to do about that? What are we going to do? To be quite honest, I'm on my iPhone here, tethered, so I don't know if there's too much I can do. All right, we're going to see if we can figure this out before we lose any more people. Tasha's not home. Tasha's out. Tasha, you home? No, she's at work. I'm not even on the Wi-Fi, to be quite honest. I'm afraid. Let's do this. Let's do a speed test. It could be because I'm on my phone's hotspot. I feel like it might improve quickly now. Yeah, so my download speed's pretty fast. Let's do one more check here. And maybe too many people hit the like button. Maybe that was the problem. Anyone want to comment? Are we back to doing okay? Are we back? Yeah, my upload speed's good. So maybe we had a little grid issue. It says the internet connection's fast, and it's like that's because I'm on T-Mobile. All right, so what do we got here? Let's finish here. Wait, did that mean it was Katie voted?
Great picture of me without eyebrows. I was voted social butterfly.
Oh, fun.
Here's one of my ex-boyfriends. He'd probably be like the main one from high school for sure. Shout out to Jeff.
Becky said, good question. Becky said, do you get stage fright or forget your lines? No, actually, I was showing this to the group earlier, and you know what? I don't have it now, but I talked about this on the Patreon. I'll show you. I don't, when the longer you do stand-up, you don't really memorize your set anymore. You'll just have your notes. So right there, I've got a list of my set list, and that's what I wanted to talk about. It's usually pretty common to know what you want to start on, but to be quite honest, as Katie was doing her set, she has a joke about inverted nipples, so I decided I would start right off and weave that into my set. One of the best ways to keep the energy going during a show is to take whatever energy the previous comic had and do a sort of callback to that. It helps let the audience feel like there's fluidity versus like if I could just go up there and start my set with something, whatever I have pre-planned. But I think with a lot of stand-up spontaneity and feeling like you're in the moment is good. So there was some crowd work. There was a few things. I ended up doing about 30 minutes. I probably referenced my notes a few times just to see like, oh, wait, did I do that joke yet? Did I do that joke? And it's one of those things. It's kind of, but yeah, forgetting lines. No, you don't. The only, I did a new joke, and I'm going to have my full set on the Patreon. I did a new joke about if there was an insurrectionist in the fantasy suite, and there's probably 5 or 6 tags to it that I worked out over the course of the last week, and by the time I got to stage, I think I'm not saying it's like hardcore etched into my brain. I'd like to perform it more, but I think I pretty much said what I wanted to say. See if you have some other comments here. Alicia said freshman year was 2002. Graduated Katie's freshman year. Voted most gullible. Oh, how fun is that? Nice, most gullible. I don't think we have any other videos to play. Let's see.
Hello. Hi, ladies. Hello. Hello, ladies. Hello. Hi, ladies. Hello. Hi, ladies. Hi, ladies. Hello.
They're definitely taking Bachelor data as statistic sheet here. Hey, but Bachelor Data didn't invent statistics. She just does a good job with them, of course. All right, we got those ones. What are we missing here? Everything else was last week.
I do have something right here. Got the first date card.
I'm on the group date. Every single girl is going on the date.
Hey, thanks, Araceli. Always good to hear. Always good to hear. I think I did more time than the other 3 comics combined. Or maybe, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think I did 30. I think combined they did 30 and I did 30. But either way, we had fun. What else is happening in the Bachelor world? Let's go to Twitter and see if there's anything on the Bachelor. Oh, you know what will be good? Let's do this. I'm going to go over here and we're going to just see real quickly. 183 people in the chat. 430. Da-dum-dum. Okay, let's see here. We just got, let's see what's going on here. So A. Frankel is Ariel, or is it Ariel or Ariel? She's a heavy contender. Oh, what is this? Sashimi? Is that what that is? Sashimi? Oh, don't get me started. So let's see what she's got going on. What are they on the top 10 yet? Here she is 4 days ago. She got the group date. So Ariel getting last week's group date rose is a big kind of hit for her. Only 14,000 followers. Yeah, these people just are not getting big. Wait, did they already do this one? Almost looks like she got a wedding. All right, so there she is. What episode was this from? I can't remember. But anyway, let's go and see if we have any more content from any other accounts. I think people just gave up on the day. Probably why my YouTube channel is doing so well today. Because I feel like no other content creators are making any content. Well, we don't stop on President's Day. It's a small Bachelor world. Of course, that is Christina Mandrell and Jordan Rogers modeling together. Of course, that just goes to show how the whole world's the whole world's connected here. That's for sure. Here's an interesting story.
I can say all of this, but I got to keep my mouth shut and let it happen as much as I can. So there are times when I want to speak up and be like, oh yeah, all right, let's go talk. But it's for...
I'm not going to comment on anything about tonight's episode that's not in one of the trailers. So that's why I'm not going to comment on the questions. Well, Bruce, I feel like I could have probably had another 15 minutes of material, but I don't know. If we kept on doing more of those shows, I feel like it could get really tight. You know what I mean? Like it could be really fun. Trying to read some new comments here. Update on Blake Moynes. He's back in Canada, and he seems to be fine. Leah said spoilers in the Instagram comments. I didn't see any spoilers in the Instagram comments, but we're trying our best not to. There's a lot of... By the way, there are multiple spoilers for who wins this season. We're not going to discuss them now. But I have to tell you, I'm going to be surprised no matter what happens. Because right now, all the spoilers are still speculative. There is not a photo in bed with someone and that's who wins. It's anybody's game. It's anybody's game right now. Okie dokie. So, what else do we have? I'm just going to look through the thing here and see if there's anything else. Let's see what She's All Batch posted. We got about 30. Nick's comments about being the only liked Bachelor lead. That's not exactly what he said. It was close to it. Okay. Blake's always got something. Let's play a game. Let's see what he's always got good content. Let's see here. Wait, hold on. Seinfeld is not funny. He could not agree more. Most overrated show of all time. No, come on. Look, Seinfeld is one of the most popular shows of all time. I would argue it's got way funnier premises than Friends, but I'm not going to say it's funnier than Friends. It's just I think Seinfeld is smarter and has one of the tightest formulas. Their callback game is so good. Susan said, giving anything up for Lent, Dave? No, I don't do Lent anymore. But I am trying to, stay. I haven't had any desserts. I was at a birthday party the other night and I turned dessert down, so that was good. I have been eating the sugar-free chocolates that I got Tasha for Valentine's Day. And I've had a couple grains cheating, maybe not grains, but I had a quesadilla. So I'm working back in some food, but I'm feeling pretty good. I've been putting on a lot of muscle. Now Lent, I was never a big Lent guy. Don't judge people that are. Just not a big Lent guy. I used to feel so guilty if I didn't do the ash on the forehead. Oh my gosh, you had to. I feel so guilty if I didn't do it. I feel like I was, letting people down, and then I just realized nobody cares. Nobody cares. Okay. But I don't judge people that do it. I just think it's one of those, like, whatever, who do it or don't. What else do we have here? Let's see what Blake is saying here. People regret having kids more than people regret not having any. Interesting. This is one of those things where, okay, so someone said people regret having kids more than people regret. Now, most people that I talk to say having kids is the best decision they ever made. But you genetically, you kind of have to say that. You kind of have to say, kids, it was amazing. You don't know what it's like till you have them. And it's like, I get that. That's the oxytocin and the commitment that your body makes to make sure the kid has a good life and survives and all that. Not to say it's not meaningful. It's just like, I get it. I understand. There's a reason why, things like breastfeeding, builds oxytocin. The commitment is supposed to be beneficial for all. Anika said, Dave, who's your favorite comic of all time and favorite living comic? Favorite living comic is Bill Burr. My favorite comic that I watch who podcasts is Robert Kelly. And I also loved Patrice O'Neal. I've been on a huge Louis C.K. kick. I've listened to just about all of his interviews. He just went on an interview run. He's one of the few comics that was in the forefront of building equity in he has his own mailing list. He sells all of his specials through his own website. So business-wise, he self-funds all of his movies. Very smart business-wise. And also one of the funniest comics of all times. Chappelle's good. Chappelle's done comedy so long that he lives in the quiet of comedy, and I can understand why a lot of people don't find him that funny anymore, because he's almost more like a preacher in a way, that where he's more story driven. But if you want to see someone kill for 60 minutes straight, Robert Kelly. Bacon is gross. No, Bacon's good. White Lotus is a terrible show. No, I actually like White Lotus. Some other shows that I'm watching right now. Shrinking is really good on Apple TV. 1923 is fantastic. And of course, Last of Us is great. So anyway, let's read some more comments. I guess it's one of those, I've never actually seen Bill Burr live, other than I've been in the same comedy club with him before, but same thing with Chris Rock. I've never caught them live, because whenever they perform, everyone floods to the stage. So it's very hard to see. Ashton K, how are you? Good to see you. Let's do this. I'm trying to see what else we have going on here. You can see the downloads for the podcast. We launched the podcast in the fall, and we're over 200,000 downloads now. So if we refresh this, we're getting about 3,000 downloads a day. And you can see just about every week it's growing. And like I said earlier, we're going to be going on a very large podcast. Someone asked if it was Dear Shandy. We love Dear Shandy. It's about 10 times the size of that. Our listeners are mainly on their cell phones. 80% of you guys are listening from Apple Podcasts. And I think because of that reason, I'm only going to promote Apple Podcasts from now on, although the rest are on Spotify. It's amazing. I used to put so much time and energy getting the podcast featured in other places, but really it's Apple Podcasts and Spotify. That's where all the downloads are. We've got a ton of 88% are listening on Apple phones. So pretty much that's the market. And, we're my goal is to, double these numbers, and you can kind of see every week there's kind of probably about a 5 to 10% growth that's happening every week. So if we do it by the week here, January 15,000, 16,000, 20,000. Last week was a little bit of a dip. Leah, Last of Us is fantastic. Yeah, Lori, Shrinking is great too. Bill Burr is great at the rants. Exo Jeanette said, I hope you and Katie do more stand-up together. Jeanette, honestly, the best thing, if you want to see us perform together, send her a DM and request that we perform together. That's the best way to make it happen, is from users like you guys who push for it. I think her and I should be doing the Hollywood Improv. I think, or that or Laugh Factory. I think Hollywood Improv I would rather do. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate all the support. 223 people in the chat, 88 thumbs up. So 1/3 of you guys have given us a thumbs up. Oh, by the way, did you see this? So I had my show, and I don't even mind a good scammer. We know how scammers work. But I had my show a couple nights ago. I had it Wednesday night, and someone posted this. I'll show you the original post. They posted this. And it said, could anyone possibly be interested in 5 tickets? We can't attend anymore due to some issues. And then it's a heartbreak thing. And then my response to them was, yeah, I'll buy the ticket. And I said, they said, how many do you need? I said, as many as you have. They said 4. And they said, can you make a bank transfer? And then they said, they're selling my tickets for $80 each. Now, again, these tickets, the show already happened. This is a scammer. And I said, $320, good deal. And then, of course, then I said, would you take $240? And she goes, yeah. I said, okay, cool. $180? And she goes, yes. And then eventually she blocked me because she understood. She realized I was scamming her. She realized I was onto her scam. But this obviously, Janet Mark is not the real name of this person. It's just a scam that people do. They probably saw that I had posted about tickets. So they probably just Google. My guess is it's just like a troll farm somewhere. Not troll farms, because they're not trolling, they're scamming. But they'll probably just try to get as many people to send them money. And while it's illegal, honestly, I don't think there's much that you can do about it unless you find out where they're doing this. These little sort of like petty scams exist all over when it comes to ticket sales. Teresa said, more shows, please. Yeah, tell Katie that. Tell Katie. Thanks, Anastasia. I appreciate it. Laugh Factory Long Beach. I would love to do that, Erica. I was at Mic Drop Comedy Club. Yes, Sarah, the androids are they're a dying breed, that's for sure. I'm trying to read the rest of your comments. Okay, good. Well, let's see if there's anything else going on here. What did Katie post this? She was going through her high school yearbook here.
So this guy's a year older than me. My sister's a year younger. So these two would end up meeting, causing a lot of freaking issues in high school. But he's now the baby daddy of my niece, so.
Wait, baby daddy of her niece. So this guy knocked up Katie's sister?
I guess he's all right.
There you go.
So I would audition for plays all the way back to like 6th grade and never was picked.
Scam Patrol.
Freshman year, I played volleyball. I am not in any of these photos because these are mostly seniors. However, I did get to swing up to varsity sometimes, which was pretty cool. Also, this is like my favorite teacher of all time. In my world, she's Hunter. She's married. That's not even her last name anymore, but that is a queen.
By the way, so if anyone wants to join the chat that happens during the episode, I have the Discord link on the Dave Neal community page. So if you're not a member, I'm sure most of you guys are at this point. If you're not a member, Dave Neal's community on Facebook is free. There's a couple thousand of us. I don't know how many. Couple thousand, but if you go to the pinned featured comments, you'll see the link for the Discord. There it is right there, the link for the Discord. So it's in the featured post. And then if you join that Discord, it'll take you to the chat room where you can talk during the episode tonight. And sometimes people will post, other ways to watch this show and stuff like that. Jessica said, Dave, do you think you'll ever do videos, recaps on Love Island or the Netflix dating shows? Good question. I planned on covering Perfect Match, but yes, Erica, there's a new link of the East Coast show that's been working. I was planning on doing Perfect Match, but to be quite honest, it's hard to like say like, oh, I'm so tired. I'm already maxed out. Everything I do is maxed out, and the other channels don't provide me nearly as much isolated views as Bachelor. One of the ways that monetization works is you get paid based on the rate of ad sales from the country of people that are watching. So if I hit it big in England for whatever reason, say I cover an English dating show, then I would be subject to their pay rate of what they pay advertisers, which is actually a lot less than the US. Now, I understand a lot of dating shows are from the US, but my point being they have a more broad audience. So it doesn't necessarily work out for me because I'm not trying to build an audience outside of the US, although I wouldn't turn that down. So would I do Love Island? There's too many dating shows that offer little reward. Like if I cloned myself and had 12 versions, I'd have to cover Love Island, every Netflix show, 90 Day Fiance, Millionaire Joe Matchmaker, Love It or Skip It, Tuberculosis Tommy, Love Anti-Vaxxers, Vacations, Tiny Homes in whatever. So there's so many shows out there. Farmers Only, vegan vaginas. There's so many out there. Perfect Match is fine so far. Lisa says, long time listener since your earliest beginnings when your recaps were the original Guy's View some years back. Yeah. So I've watched the first 4 episodes of Perfect Match. I don't have a strong opinion about the show. I think it's fine. I don't know. I used to have a hard time covering Bachelor in Paradise because there was no point to the show. And then now I just cover it because there's so much drama. But I'm not sold on covering some of these other shows. Because like I said, I'm already probably creating at least 400% more content than any other sort of person in the game, except for Reality Steve maybe. But as far as video content goes, I'm for sure creating 400 to 800% more. Most people just do 2 videos a week, right? We do at least 15, usually 18. Plus the private Patreons and this and that. So I don't say that all to complain. It's just to say, it's a lot easier to know all the storylines from one series. Now, if Bachelor got canceled, I would probably still have several years worth of content based on all Bachelor alumni still living their life and doing stupid things. And then I would introduce some other content. But yeah, incredibly busy. That's rubbish, Dave. A lot of people don't even know where that line comes from here, but I was called out by an Irish. Here.
That's rubbish, Dave.
I was called out by. Let's see if we can find it here. I was called out by an Irish. I'm not going to play the full thing, but let's go. Dave Neal, Ireland. Let's see what that shows up here. This is actually a guy named Dave Neal, and he's an Irish guy that I know. It's spelled differently, but our names are the same. Ireland Morning. I feel like if I search Ireland Morning, let's try. Oh, here it is. It's only got 1,300 views, but I called in after eating my edible. It was like I think 1 a.m. Pacific time.
Oh well, thanks for having me. I think that we need to.
I want to get to the part where he calls me rubbish.
But that's rubbish, Dave. To be honest with you,
there it is. So the second he calls me rubbish, I'm like, what are we doing? I had my little backdrop I put up. Oh, look, they're advertising for Love Island right there.
And then after several years of believing her, the truth came out and there wasn't enough evidence to support any of her claims and she lost.
But that's rubbish, Dave. To be honest with you, do we really need to know exactly what the ins and outs of it? I mean, it's a nasty divorce between...
So, of course, this guy... was a Ireland AM. He's I guess a retired rugby player. But what happened was, look, they even that's rubbish, Dave. See, look, they knew I started using that's rubbish, Dave, and they changed that for their thumbnail, but they only have 1,300 views. My coverage of this got a ridiculous amount of views. But
now is you.
Look at all the comments that came out of this. I said, thanks for having me. Let's see what they said. Someone said, you handled that very well, and unbiased info, shared the facts, followed the trial. You did very well for being so dignified and graceful and standing for the truth from those two rubbish reporters. Professional handles. So people started calling the reporters out because they were calling it a divorce case. They didn't know what the hell they were talking about. I think it's disappointing that two hosts are talking about a trial and making opinions of something they didn't watch and even try to understand. Dave did a great job answering the questions. Yeah, it was so funny, guys. It was so funny to go on this network and immediately find out that they were trying to like get me. You know what I mean? So after I do this interview, I go to bed and I kind of like lay down and I was like, oh man, what did I just do? Because you don't know. You don't know if you're going to be the laughing stock of like the Today Show or whatever. But clearly I was very educated on the topic, and I've had a lot of blowback because of this, because people try to like make this a political issue or whatever. And I'm just here to prove that my coverage of topics doesn't have to be political. It's going to be my educated opinion.
YouTuber and stand-up comedian Dave Neal, who's been covering the case over the last 6 weeks. Dave, thank you so much.
So then they somewhere in here accused me of sort of profiting off of the story. Meanwhile, they're the ones selling ads with their media and covering the story, but they're profiting off of it in a way where they weren't even at least getting educated in the trial.
Law, where we live in Ireland, our law is different to what your law is in the US, and everyone became an expert. And when it comes to social media, everyone was an epidemiologist. We're all experts on COVID, we're all experts on the war in Ukraine, we're all military experts now, and everyone became an expert in US defamation law during all of this, whereas the experts were the ones saying, this is a bad idea to televise this. And now there are rumours that Marilyn Manson might try to bring a case against his.
All right, and that's of course a completely different topic. They try to clump it all together. Let's see here. They let me go on a nice little rant there, and let's see what they finished with.
Didn't follow it.
Well, the tough part is once I'm done talking, they clip away and then they say whatever they want to say, and there's no rebutting it. So it's kind of like I don't mind going on these shows. It's just, I wish I was a little bit more prepared to be called rubbish, because I was like, what? But, sometimes you let someone else call you rubbish and then you just do what you need to do in good faith. And I think audiences are pretty fair. If I was like, no, you're rubbish, no. Oh, you think I'm rubbish for talking about it this way? Just about everyone who commented on it had my side, which never happens.
You're right. In relation to Amber, she doesn't have the... She wasn't a big movie star.
I didn't follow it at all. I just find...
Because I didn't follow it at all. They ask me on, call me rubbish, and then say, I didn't follow it at all. And I still said thanks.
Her being hired over any other actor. There's, tens of thousands of them out here with us. So I think she'll have a harder time recovering.
Yeah, YouTuber Dave Neal, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And I think you're definitely right in relation to Amber. She doesn't have the... She wasn't a big movie star.
I didn't follow it at all. I just find how...
I wish he said it up front. I didn't follow it at all. It just goes to show these types of shows are not a format to absorb information.
Court ruling in the UK, she won, he won.
So he says in the court ruling in the UK, she won. No, in the court, and again, it's a whole thing. She didn't win. In the court ruling, the Sun won because they reported on stuff that turned out to not be true, which was proved in the US court system. So it was bonkers, and I still have to deal with people when I go on podcasts saying, oh, Dave's anti-feminist or whatever the hell they want to call me, because I covered this story as fairly as possible for 6 weeks. For 6 weeks, we talked about this story. It was fascinating. And still, I guess what you learn is, if you're gonna get in the ring with these types of stories, people are gonna not always agree with you, and they might label you a certain way. Guys, I was put on a list. My name was put on a list of people that were I I don't know, like it was like a bad thing. I was on the same list of about a dozen people where other people were getting swatted. Swatting can lead to murder, okay? Swatting's when somebody calls. I almost don't want to describe it right here because I don't want to like get on the YouTube. I don't want to get flagged for it. But it's when people will call police and say, oh, so-and-so is going down at this house, give an address, and none of it's true. And then the SWAT team will come and then they'll find out, you know, we're sleeping or whatever. Then they separate you because they think it's domestic or whatever, some crazy issues. Swatting has led to police pulling their guns on people, and it's led to death. It's wild, absolutely wild. And I just saw firsthand how dirty some people can be when you start doing things online. And it might not sound like a big deal, but then you see unhinged people like Nancy Pelosi's husband got his skull cracked open with a hammer. And you just see crazy stuff like that happen. And it's like, oh my gosh, do we have to think about the types of stories we cover in the future? The umbrella guy had CPS called on him. And I'm trying to think, that's happened. I'm not going to say to who, but that's happened to people in Bachelor Nation. I'm not going to get into it, but there's been people in Bachelor Nation that fans have disagreed with their lifestyle, the way they handle things, and they've had CPS called on them. It is wild because you don't know who you're fighting. If someone mugs you in the street, you can get security footage, you can hunt them down, you can find out who they are, you can sue them, you can do whatever. If you get in a brawl with somebody or road rage, you get their license plate, you have a fighting shot. When these strangers start coming after people and their families, it is scary. It's not what anybody signed up for. It's not fair. It's wild. And it's intimidation, and it's the type of thing. It hasn't stopped me from covering what I cover, but I will tell you, I'd be lying if I said there isn't a bias that goes into what I want to cover moving forward, because you don't want to ruffle feathers. You don't want to be on somebody's bad side. I mean, like I said, if I go on Bachelor Party podcast, there's people that label me a certain way based off of what? Did they watch any of the content I made? I was getting it from, and I think you're doing it right if both sides are angry. I had Amber people angry. I had Johnny Depp people angry because I was trying to cover it in a way that was not, being too decisive till I heard the facts. But yeah, I remember being on our flight back from the Bahamas, and I was trying to respond to a few people on a thread, and I was like, what am I doing? Why am I responding to these people? Like, in real life, they shouldn't exist. But like I said, with the swatting and the calling of CPS, I mean, if I had a child, you would expect I would have to deal with that. With somebody calling up and saying this kid's in harm's way, and it's heartbreaking because of the people that actually do need the resources and the help that is meant for a good reason. But it's bad. And it's like, well, and then we go, well, it's not everybody, it's just a small percentage. But when you look at it as a content creator, you go, I know firsthand the people in Bachelor Nation that have had CPS called on them. And on the same hand, I know people within the case I covered that had SWAT teams called on them. So and it's wild. But it was an interesting part of my life, that's for sure. Michelle said 3 minutes. We got to get going. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna wrap it up here. If anyone wants to join me, by all means, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the podcast. It's free. I do it every afternoon, and I'm giving you brand new content you can't hear anybody else. You can't hear anybody anywhere else. Linktree.com/Dave Neal, or just type in Bachelor Rush Hour wherever you listen. Hit subscribe, hit follow. Thank you all so much for that. I'm going to get out of here. Everyone have a fantastic one. I'll be back in 2 hours for an after show live, so we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.